Okay, hear me out. You take the new Ducati single cylinder, the one they've got in the Hypermono, you shove that into a race-derived chassis for a sport bike, and you have a new age version of the Supermono that could compete directly with the R7 and RS660, except this thing would make 85 horsepower and in theory weigh under 250 pounds. That would be a bike that I would love to buy, but sadly does not exist. And in today's video, I thought it'd be fun to talk about bikes that I wish existed, but sadly do not. So imagine a screaming single cylinder little motorcycle weighing under 250 pounds, the Supermono. It's not as far-fetched as it seems because Ducati used to make one of these. In fact, one recently sold at auction for over $160,000, so they are certainly collector's items. I'm surprised Ducati hasn't entered themselves into this new category of not so super sports, stuff like the R7, RS660, Daytona 660. I'm not sure they could compete on price, but Ducati could offer something really interesting. Consider something like the Kramers. Those motorcycles featured the old KTM single cylinders, super race derived. I'd pretty much like to see something like that coming from Ducati, but with turn signals and a headlight. And since they got that new Hypermono to pass emissions, I don't see why they wouldn't shove that motorcycle engine into something else. It would be strange if Ducati developed this single cylinder and didn't put it into any other type of motorcycle. I don't think we'll see it in a sport bike anytime soon, but even a lightweight enduro bike could be pretty sweet. All right, another motorcycle I really want to see would be a Yamaha WR500. Okay, so there's no surprises here. I'm a big Yamaha fanboy. I owned a WR250 for a year, and I really enjoyed that motorcycle. Dead simple to work on, dead simple to modify, super reliable, maintenance intervals are as wide as the gearbox, and the thing is just a gem. The only thing I didn't jive with the WR250 was the fact that it was a little underpowered and a little bit heavy. KTM's been cleaning up shop with the Husqvarna FE501s and the KTM EXCF 500s. Those are the darling lightweight enduro bikes that have plates and turn lights on them. I truly believe if Yamaha were to bring back the WR in a street flavor, bore out and make a big 500cc engine, build it with that Yamaha build reliability, don't make as much top-end power as the KTMs, make it a little bit heavier, I think you'd truly have that unicorn dual sport motorcycle that so many riders are looking for. Something peppy, fun, enjoyable, and super trail capable. I think a Yamaha WR500 is basically a no-brainer. And really quick, I wanted to mention that we have a GSX-8R as a giveaway motorcycle over on YamiNoob.co. If you guys don't know, I give away bikes over on YamiNoob.co. I've been doing it for over 5 years. I've given away over 51 different motorcycles, valued at over $500,000. We've been doing it for a long time, and it's one of my favorite parts of what we do here. Hit that link down below and become a member and get your access to all of our Discord server, the exclusive content, the newsletter, all that great stuff. And if you don't want to do that, you can always get a hat, a t-shirt, a hoodie, whatever you want. We got some brand new merch designs that are pretty slick as well. Go and check that out. Now let's get back into it. This next one to me is also a bit of a no-brainer, and I'm surprised they haven't done it yet. I think Triumph needs to release a new Daytona, a real Daytona, something that's going to go head-to-head with MV Agusta's F3 in the 799cc triple category for the new generation Super Sport. Now, I know they have the 765 platform, they use that for Moto 2, but we never really got a real Moto 2 bike for the street. What we got was that Moto 2 edition Daytona that was basically a street triple with a carbon fiber fairing. I rode that bike, it did not feel like a real Daytona to me. It felt like a naked bike engine that got shoved into race plastics. So I would love to see a 799cc triple that's gonna compete in the new sports next generation super sport category, making above 150 horsepower, something that's really gonna take it to MV Agusta's F3. Because when I rode the F3, that's when I really thought this is what I always wanted my ultimate echelon triple cylinder sport bike to be, but the Daytona never quite could get there with their Moto 2 flavor. So I don't know. I think maybe Triumph should just bore out that 765, give it some hot cams, change the intake a little bit, make it make a bunch of peak horsepower, and then put it in a even better race-derived chassis with all the learnings they've gotten from Moto 2. Okay, this one I think is just simply unfair that Europeans get and we don't. It's the Tracer 7 from Yamaha. This is such a sweet motorcycle. It would basically obliterate all the Kawasaki Versys 650 sales here in America because you get that 689cc CC parallel twin found in the MT-07. Get some nice touring mods for it, put the bags on it. It's basically a perfect low budget touring machine. I am shocked that Yamaha has not brought this motorcycle to the States, but I suspect it's because they don't want to cannibalize their own Tracer 9 GT sales, because obviously the Tracer 7 GT would be a much more inexpensive motorcycle than the Tracer 9. But I'd really love to see a Tracer 7 GT Plus with some of those cooler features from the Tracer 9 GT kind of trickling down. Maybe that radar adaptive cruise control, the unified braking system, something in a more small, lightweight motorcycle than the big battleship Tracer 9 GT. And I'm not gonna lie, if the Tracer 7 GT was available in the States, I'd have to take a really hard, long look at it because I might want to buy one because it kind of ticks off all the boxes of a motorcycle that I'm looking for to replace my Ducati Scrambler Desert Sled since I did the whole sport touring thing with it. Because I don't really think you need 150 horsepower to go sport touring. I think a small, lightweight, simple motorcycle could actually be the right fit. And Yamaha's bulletproof 689cc parallel twin is kind of a great hit. All right, this next one, kind of a no-brainer. I really think Kawasaki should launch an H2 Eliminator. I think it's kind of a bummer they put the Eliminator name on a 450cc cruiser. The only thing that's going to eliminate is your chances of getting laid. Sorry to say it. Like, the namesake Eliminator is so powerful, it evokes something like a Terminator, you know, and it just kind of feels weird to put it on a 450cc cruiser. I think they should make a torque-first supercharged inline-4 variant of their H2 engine in a cruiser frame. And this is a well-defined category, so it's not like Kawasaki's going out there and batting blind. You know, you have the Triumph Rocket 3s and the Diavels. There is definitely a well-defined muscle cruiser category that, truthfully, if Kawasaki came out with a supercharged version of one, it would sell pretty well. The coolest thing about that supercharger is how much torque it produces low down. I've owned a ZH2 and an H2, and those motors are just otherworldly for their low-end pull. And imagine if you geared and set that thing up for even more low-end grunt rather than top-end power. It could be a monster. And sure, would it be a big sales hit? Probably not. But Kawasaki doesn't even really build motorcycles to be big sales hits, in my opinion. That's why they made the ZX4RR. They were kind of like, well, we're gonna just put this out there and see what happens. And the amount of buzz they got was just unreal. So an H2 Eliminator, that would be pretty sweet. This next one is the biggest layup in motorcycling that's waiting to happen. I've talked about it before, but I left it to the end of the video so you guys could get your opinions on it. It's a Yamaha XSR1. I think it is unconscionable that Yamaha has not given their XSR treatment to the MT-10 platform. One of the biggest things holding me back personally from an MT-10 or an MT-10 variant motorcycle are the looks. I just think that bike looks hideous. I cannot get behind the fact of how ugly that bike is. And for a lot of people, looks are super important when purchasing a motorcycle. So imagine for a moment a Yamaha with the XSR look and feel, single round headlight, maybe a new age look to it, kind of like what they did with the XSR 900, maybe an 80s retro throwback thing, some awesome paintwork, and underneath the R1 frame and engine from the MT-10. That would be killer. I would probably buy that motorcycle, maybe as a giveaway, maybe as my own bike. It would just be so cool, and I think I'd have to have it. So I think a Yamaha XSR1, absolute no-brainer. Another one that I think could be a pretty good layup and actually wouldn't be that hard to execute would be a Kawasaki ZX4RR naked variant, maybe a ZX4 naked? How would you call that? A Ninja 400? I don't know. Kawasaki'd have to come up with a name, not me. But a naked bike based on the ZX4RR little super sport could be really awesome. Because imagine you get that ridiculous little 399cc inline 4 revving at 16,000 RPM, making all that top-end power and all that cool inline 4 sounds, but in a package that's pint-sized, upright, super fun, super enjoyable. That could be a really, really cool motorcycle and something that I would be really into. Because while the ZX4RR isn't necessarily back-breakingly difficult to ride, having something nice and naked and upright with that super fun little 399cc inline 4 could be the shot in the pants that the entry-level category could really use. And of course, one of the last bikes I would love to see come out, but it probably never will, given emissions, given the way things are going, is a factory Turbo Hayabusa. I left this one last for the list because it's a bit of a meme, but honest to God, I really do wish, because there were patents, there were ideas, there were rumors, there was always this thing that Suzuki might actually do this. And when Kawasaki came out with the H2 as a factory supercharged bike, it was kind of cool to think about a future in which we could maybe get a turbo Suzuki. I still think it'd be so sick to have the factory set something like that up. It would work really well. It would be really well. You could maybe even detune the 1349cc engine that's found in the Busa today. Maybe lower the CCs a little bit, put the turbocharger on there, make it more emissions friendly. It's kind of a pipe dream, but at the same time, it's fun to think about these things as motorcyclists. So guys, let me know down in the comments what you think about these motorcycles that I wish existed. Are there any that you wish existed? And let me know your comments down below about these types of motorcycles that should be coming out in the world today. I'll catch you guys in the next one. See you later. Keep watching Yami Noob.